An Ember in the Ashes. I don't have the battery capacity for this video right now. Hey guys, it's Armin and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, I hope you stick around. Don't forget to subscribe down below as well as the notification bell so you can be told when I make a new video. Today I'm filming a really quick, really short November wrap-up. I didn't get too much reading done last month just because of school, but I read some very important books this month, so this is going to basically be me talking about one particular series plus one book. So let's get into it. So I read 4 books this month, the first of which was The Fortune Cookie Chronicles, which was a book for class. It was for my Asian American Studies class. I gave it like 3.75 stars, but I wasn't really reading it like to rate it, so you know, take that with a grain of salt. This book was basically a historical hodgepodge of Asian American history, particularly kind of Chinese American history, told through the quest that this historian takes to kind of find out how a bunch of people won the lottery after playing the Powerball with their fortune cookie numbers. So that was kind of like the loose beginning of this book, is that a bunch of people win the lottery, and obviously it's like a nonfiction, so they win the lottery and she finds out that they all used their fortune cookie numbers, like the lucky numbers on the fortune cookies. And so it's basically like a historical book. You find out a lot about like where fortune cookies came from, which, surprise, they're actually Japanese and they were brought over obviously and then adapted into like sweets here, and then they were popularized through Chinese restaurants. So just fun fact, while you're watching this, you're educated now. And it was also like a lot about how food is like a cultural window and how food can become Americanized and like what is authenticity in food. And it was just like, it was a cool book. It was really educational. The reason I didn't give it a higher rating is just because it was like really rambly sometimes. There were entire chapters that like didn't really have anything to do with the main storyline that was happening. It was like they just wanted to share this one fun fact, and so they told like an entire 30-page chapter over it, which like I felt educated, but at the same time it really took me away from what was happening in the main, not plot of this book because there wasn't like a plot, but like the main kind of educational thesis that was happening, and it just kind of took away from that. So that was the only reason I didn't rate this higher. But if you're interested in Asian American history and you like didn't want to read that thick book I recommended last time, that was basically my textbook, this one kind of tells you a lot of the same history but in a more entertaining way, I suppose. So yeah, I think I would recommend it. It was a fun read. And now for the most important part of this video. I read the Ember in the Ashes series this month. I have not read the last one yet. It comes out soon by the time this video is out. Maybe I will have read it, maybe not. I don't know. But I read this series last month and oh my goodness, I fell in love. I love this series so much. I can't believe I didn't read it sooner. I've been missing out, but at the same time I'm glad I didn't read it until now, because I feel like at this point in my journey as a reader, I have the competence and the ability to truly appreciate this work of art. Literally, I was reading An Ember in the Ashes and every sentence was just beautifully written. This was really poetic. It told the story without any like frivolous details, but it was so visual, and I'm flipping through this book as if I could, you know, glean any more information that I could tell you, but like I'm not even looking at the words. But basically, like, it's just so well written. Like, if you haven't read this series, it's not for everybody. I know that there's some people who are like, what was that plot? But oh my gosh, I could not put this book down. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I gave the entire series 5 out of 5 stars. I might be a little bit biased, but I absolutely loved it. Like, I know, okay, let me take this book by book because I'm just rambling at this point. Basically, An Ember in the Ashes. I don't have the battery capacity for this video right now. You know, I was gonna turn this into a video of me talking about how much I love Ember in the Ashes and why I love it so much, but I realized that my battery's almost dead, and this is a wrap-up, so this is not gonna be that video. But let me just tell you about this series really quick, and then I will make a whole separate video about this series exclusively. Basically, An Ember in the Ashes follows 2 main characters, Laya and Elias. Laya is a slave, Elias is a soldier trainee trying to like become a soldier in this academy and this empire that basically trains murderers, and he hates it there. And Laia is obviously a slave, so like neither of them is free. Laia's family is murdered at like the very beginning of the book, and her brother is captured, and she enters kind of like the resistance in order to help free her brother from the prison, and this gets her like into the academy where Elias is training to become a soldier, where he doesn't want to be. So you know, that's how they meet. But oh my gosh, this sounds like a fantasy plot, but there is just so much like emotion, like raw emotion in this book. There's just so many deep, like dark themes. It's like, honestly, I would hesitate to say that this was a YA book. The characters are like, it almost seems more new adult to me just because of the topics discussed in this book. Obviously it's important for teens to read about, but at the same time, like a lot of YA fantasy these days, it's just like, oh, 16-year-olds falling in love, like meet cute, you know, oh, I'm gonna kill you, like, you know, just stuff like that. And this was like, the characters are older, like Elias is 20, I think Laia is around there too, and like literally her family is murdered before her eyes, like in the first chapter, and she faces like PTSD from that. Like she literally has repercussions. It's not just like a plot builder, it's not just like a character builder, like, oh, her family's dead, you know, like stuff like that. It's like she actually has the impact of seeing that happen before her eyes, and Elias is really struggling with like his humanity, and like I think it's definitely relevant to today's society too. It's like we get put in these institutions, they tell us what to do, and a lot of people just follow it blindly even if they think maybe it's not the right thing to do. And he's really struggling with like reconciling what he's being told to do with his humanity, and I think it's just very like, it's just so good. I can't like get into it more because my camera's gonna die, but I gave all 3 of these books 5 stars. I'm holding them backwards. I gave all 3 of these books 5 stars. I don't know, like I rate books higher when they make me feel things, and all 3 of these books made me cry. So it wasn't just that they were really well written and that the plot was really like enthralling to me. I literally could not put these books down. I read them all basically within the span of a couple days each, and I like couldn't think about anything else while I was reading them. And I really love the characters. I'm really attached to the characters, and it's been a while since I've had a series that I could do that with, so I think all of that just combined, and I rated all 3 of them 5 stars. Now that's not to say that I love them all equally. I think A Torch Against the Night was a little bit slower than I would have preferred, but a lot still happens, and definitely like A Reaper at the Gates, the pacing was a little wild just because like so much time is passing all of a sudden, but like it's kind of necessary to the storyline, but it picks up at the end, and just all of them all together was like, it was perfect. I love this series, and I cannot wait to read the finale, and that will be in my December wrap-up because, you know, I'm gonna read it as soon as I get it. So anyways, those are the 4 books that I read in the month of November. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know down below what you thought, if you've read any of these books, and if you haven't, read these books. Like, just stop watching and go read An Ember in the Ashes. And as always, don't forget to hit subscribe so you can be told when I make a new video, because hopefully I will be posting new content very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Bye-bye.